Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a little bit of TAC 45 weapon scavenging gameplay for you. I'm going to start off with attack, kill one or two people, and then if they drop a gun that I like, I'm going to pick it up and roll with it. Going to have a very good gameplay for you. Going to end up getting a swarm and almost a second swarm. Going to be doing some stuff that I would love to be able to show off. I made a guy kill himself later on. You're going to see it. It's about hilarious. Unfortunately, if this were Advanced Warfare, I wouldn't have theater mode to do that with. Now, Black Ops 2 is the last Call of Duty game to have theater mode, and Advanced Warfare has already been confirmed to not have it. It's not that it hasn't been announced or that it's not discussed, but rather it's just been confirmed to have not included theater mode in the game, and today I'm going to talk about why. But before I do, I'd like to mention that as of right now, I am casting the introductory matches over at Esports Arena. I put their Twitch link down there in the description and at the top of the video. They hired me to be a guest caster to kick off and finish up their online invitational for Call of Duty. It's a ghost tournament. Some of the pro teams that you might know are Denial, Strictly Business, and TK they're playing. So if you'd like to check out my casting and everything, you can check it out down there in the description. But let's move back to theater mode in Advanced Warfare. Now, I'm not a developer. I don't have any secret information, but this is all based about what I've read online, what people have said to me, and a little bit of logical intuition about project management. Reason number one that theater mode is not included in Advanced Warfare is that all next-gen systems have DVRs. Both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One have a game DVR feature built into it. The Xbox One you can upload to their network. I think that they're going to be including upload to YouTube feature eventually, but you can just download the raw WMV files. And PlayStation 4 can do the same thing, except you export it to Facebook currently, but some creative people have managed to get the files off of it, and this is enough for most people. It's also got built-in Twitch streaming, but that's a little bit of a different thing right there. And many of you might say, okay, well that's great and all, but I still don't get to go in third person or rewind or go backwards in time with my little game DVR. It just records my first person gameplay. Unfortunately, I would wager, and this is a made up statistic, but it's based totally on my feel and what I've seen, about 98% of players only used it to play back first person recordings. Mostly of themselves when they had something worthy of showing off or that they wanted to record somewhere else. Occasionally of enemies, but there wasn't a whole lot of third person action or really super fancy editing. Now, don't get me wrong, some people definitely did it. We had brilliant content creators both in the system and on YouTube, and people doing really creative, interesting things, but that was by no means a majority of the players. So, for 98% of the player population on next-gen consoles, which is truly the aim of the game, it's going to be a redundant feature. Why would you include what most people are going... There's knocking the guy off the building. What are you going to include what most people would just be a first-person playback when they've already got the game DVR? And it does shaft the older consoles a little bit, so it becomes a redundant feature for about 98% of next-gen users, and last-gen users, well, I guess you guys just kind of get the shaft on that one. Reason number two is that, to the best of my understanding, it did add some degree of lag to the game. Now, when I say this, I do it very carefully, and I don't want to give the impression that theater mode added massive amounts of lag, and lots of people thought that by disabling recording, you could actually reduce the lag in the game. And while that might technically be true, it would be kind of like the foregrip here in Black Ops 2. It was only a very, very tiny amount, like 1%, maybe less. In most cases, it would be completely unnoticeable. I mean, you really just wouldn't know, but technically, theoretically, it did, because you had to sort of store and upload that bandwidth. And even if it didn't do that, even if I'm totally wrong, surely it had to do a little bit of reason number three, which is use system resources. Well, some player, because we weren't playing on dedicated servers, had to have their Xbox recording that data and storing it somewhere while they were recording and while they were playing and everything, and surely that used system resources that could have been better put toward the game. Maybe it hurt their experience, maybe it didn't, I don't really know, but I do know that last gen systems, the PlayStation 3 and 360 and even the Wii, are going to be really, really squeezed for resources. Only so much processing power, so much RAM, and all that sort of stuff to go around, and if we include a theater mode on this, you're just squeezing it even harder when we really need that to get graphics that look more like the next gen versions. And the next gen versions are really stretched too, because they're trying to compete with all the other games and PC games, and they're trying to look beautiful, so they're just squeezing it for every little ounce of system bandwidth that they can possibly get. And if they can cut out theater mode and save some bandwidth, well, that's a very logical reason to do so. Reason number 4 has a little bit more to do with quality control and project management, but including a theater mode in this game does take some degree of time. You just have to put some amount of time into it. You have to put development time to develop it, to make it work, to get the camera tools right, to work on the controls, all this other sort of stuff, and then you have to put it in the code, and then you have to do all the bugs, because anything that you do to the game code will create new bugs. Even if you fixed one bug, a new bug will pop up. It can be bug heaven, but that's just kind of how it works sometimes. And then the whole implementation, and it's a resource sink. You have to use resources to do this, and these are resources that we could be better spent toward designing maps, toward working on better DLC. That actually sounds kind of bad, because you're not supposed to do DLC until the game's out, but we could do like improving the graphics, improving the gameplay, working on, I'm pretty sure there is going to be a type of casting system included that is not the theater mode, working on that and making sure that's ready to go at launch and everything is smooth and fine. You have to choose what to use your resources on in a massive game. It's not like a MMO or something where you just grind until it's done. You have to be kind of smart about it, and if you can save a lot of time and polish other things by killing theater mode, then it makes sense. And all of these are reasons of practicality. All of these reasons, as far as I'm concerned, make really good sense from a business standpoint, from a project management standpoint, from a user experience standpoint too. However, I'm going to play my own devil's advocate today and disagree slightly, or maybe a little bit more strongly. I'm also going to list some reasons why maybe we should have kept theater mode, why that wasn't the best of decisions. I'll start off with reason number 1, and it's a little bit of a selfish reason, but I do believe a logical one, and that's that content creators loved it. I loved theater mode from Black Ops 2. I didn't use it all the time, but when I wanted it, when I needed it, it was there and I could do great things with it. And in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 and MW3, I had a little series called Showing Off. I did unusual gameplay montages. I filmed little machinimas with it, head bobbing and editing as if it were realistic and some stuff like that. And even just sometimes in a regular commentary, I would cut to third person and just show something cool that happened, and it was really great. It's something that I enjoyed doing, not all the time, not frequently, but I did good work with it. I wasn't the only one. A lot of other people did really creative stuff with the theater mode. I mean, they just made beautiful content, which as a business these days you have to be more aware of, like, the gaming community and not just the game. So pleasing community members and allowing them to make good content is good for the game. And again, that's a selfish reason, but there's also, it was good to review plays and see what happened to you. If you just got destroyed some game, if some guy was outplaying you, if you have no idea how he shot you or how he saw you, you could load the entire game back up from start to scratch and watch his point of view and watch what happened to you, and watch exactly all the plays that person made, every decision that they made, how they aimed, what their gun was, and you could see it. Maybe you could watch everybody. You could watch a whole game and study it and really learn what happened and get better at the game. Now, this was a self-improvement thing, but it was very, very good. Also good for exposing cheaters. We had, game battles and MLG and all that sort of stuff, and people would get cheated all the time, but it was easier in Black Ops 2 because you could just show the theater mode file, and while people could edit videos and do weird things, you really couldn't fake the theater mode files. That was just, as far as I'm aware, that was just not fakeable, and it exposed cheaters on that system. It exposed boosters, glitchers, all that sort of stuff in the game, so that everybody that worked at the, I guess it would be the Treyarch Banhammer department, the online securities or whatever, they could just go back and watch the theater mode and see what happened, and if somebody was cheating, they get banned. If somebody was glitching off the map, they get banned. You don't have to have a he said, she said, depend on all the reports. You could literally go and look at it, and it wasn't such a big deal. And lastly, it could be kind of just for fun. I mean, sometimes people just like going back and look at throwing knives and noob tubes and grenades and stuff and all the fire in slow motion. Sometimes it was just fun to do that, or fun to test out the effect of the weapons, or see how long it would take the missile to land and little things like that. And maybe not, again, as fun as the main game, but it was a nice little feature to have. And these are things that will be missed from other, well, not other Call of Duty games, but from Advanced Warfare. And I really don't see the feature returning for whatever, I guess I'll just call it Black Ops 3, whatever Treyarch's working on next. I really believe that for the same reasons, the theater mode probably won't return, which is a bit of it's disheartening for me, but it's something that I've come to expect, that theater mode is gone and it's probably not coming back. But they're just little things that I miss. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Twitch link down there in the description to Esports Arena, because I'm probably still casting right now. And if you're watching at a different part of the day, then I might be casting later tonight, the last few matches. And instead of cutting off the gameplay, I'll let you see how it ends in the final score and all that, and I'll go back to normal volume. Drifter out.